Welcome back to my kitchen, another video. This is one of those future Tracy coming in from an old video that I started. So back in at Easter, during the Easter holidays, which doesn't feel like that long ago because it's gone in a blink of an eye, but was a few weeks ago, I did got some footage of some things that I was doing that I still want to share with you. I just haven't had a chance to get it out yet. I have started getting a veg box weekly. If you've been around a while, you'll know that one of the things that I was talking about during a challenge that I was doing was all around supermarkets and where to get my food from, and struggling with getting the milk from the milkman is so expensive, etc, and all of those good things. Anyway, since then I've started getting a veg box weekly and it's been working out perfectly. And this is some of the old footage from when I started that, showing you some examples of what I've got in the veg box. And what I'm going to be doing is I've got a bit of a new routine that I'm starting for the next few weeks coming up to our summer holidays, and I thought it'd be interesting to show you how I'm managing my time at the moment and get into that over the next coming weeks. Not necessarily on a schedule or anything like that, because I can't always commit to doing those, but I thought that I'd still come in, explain what's going on by inserting the footage that I have got, which is starting a brand new video, so you'll be welcomed again to the kitchen, and then coming back to me at the very end to show you what I'm making for tea, and how I'm going to be handling the next few weeks coming up with working full time and with planning for, are we ever going to get nicer weather? Are we going to be having winter meals forever? Because that's what it feels like at the moment here in the northeast of England. And yeah, I just thought introduce myself again before the video. And here is the footage from the Easter holidays showing you what I was doing, and then we'll catch up at the very end. Welcome back to another video. I have got a couple of hours where there's nobody here except me and the animals, and I thought it would be good to catch up on the veg box and the meal plan discussions that we have already started. And the reason I've started the video now is because I'm in the middle of getting my pressure canning underway. I wanted to pressure can baked beans, like the Heinz baked beans, but I didn't have all of the ingredients. So I've quickly looked, because I want to do some form of preserving, or multiple forms of preserving, but I want to do a pressure canning every day whilst I'm off on my holidays. And I've got a new recipe that I'm going to try, because I can't do the baked beans, but I've got so many beans in the pantry, as you guys know. I'm going to do a sausage and bean soup. And pressure canning, in case you don't know, is a form of preserving jars of food like you would buy from Tesco or wherever, and keeping them on the shelf in a shelf-stable format for a long time, basically. You need a pressure canner to be able to do that, not a pressure cooker, which we generally know here in the UK. It's a pressure canner. So we have got one imported from the US. They're starting to become more popular here in the UK and more widely available. Anyway, this isn't a pressure canning video. I just wanted to say the reason that I picked up the camera now was because for this recipe, I need celery as part of the recipe, and I don't have any in the pantry. And I thought, oh, I'll go and grab the veg box, which has been sat waiting patiently for me to go and get it to do this video, and show you the contents of it, because I don't even know what the contents of the veg box are. It was £25. It's sat in the cold room waiting. So I'm going to go and grab it. It might not even have celery in it. If not, we'll have to figure out what to do for this recipe. Right, so as I say, this has just been sat waiting patiently. I'm not going to touch anything else. I want to show you exactly what's in it. This is £25 delivered to my door. They do a variety of other, it's not just, this is mixed fruit and veg. They do fruit only, veg only, smaller boxes. They actually do a roast dinner box, which you actually get a joint of meat in it as well. Actually. But they also do, which I remembered when Claire from Claire Grace was chatting in the comments on one of the other videos, they sell eggs and milk and all sorts of other things, and that's just in our local greengrocers. So if you guys want to consider doing this, maybe you grow your own and you need supplements, or maybe you don't grow any of your own things and you want everything, whatever it might be. But I am trying to avoid the supermarkets as much as possible. It's not going to happen completely, but minimising when I go to the supermarkets. Supporting local really helps. Everything here is not local, but it is from my local greengrocers, so I'm supporting them, they're supporting wherever they get their fruit and veg from, but a lot of it is local, which is what I'm really pleased about. But what I was saying, you may be able to get milk and dairy products, you know, your cheese or your eggs, things like that, from the greengrocers. If that's something that you're interested in, it's definitely worth asking. Delivery service makes it so much easier too. We've actually got, why do I keep saying actually? This is turkey stock that I've taken out the freezer. I've been freezer shopping, freezer diving this morning to do all of this pressure canning that I'll talk about in a different video. But I found lots of broth that needs using. Well, it doesn't need using. I want to use it because I want the freezer space. Anyway, these are salad leaves, which is ideal because we can just throw them in with some of the peppers that I've seen here. So that's pepper rather than chilli. We can use those just as a side. Now that the sun's here for a couple of days, we'll have to get to those quickly. The strawberries are looking really good. There's a couple that are probably should have gone in the fridge as soon as they arrived, which is my fault, not theirs. Grace loves strawberries, so they will be eaten happily from her. We've got broccoli, a few parsnips, potatoes, peppers that you've already seen, a bunch of carrots, couple of more than 2 tomatoes. We've been spoiled with the tomato shortage that isn't. Savoy cabbage, lovely cauliflower. Do you know I love growing cauliflower? I love cauliflower and I love growing it. Some beautiful mushrooms. They're absolutely fab. The size of those, I could stuff those. Stuff them with some of these peppers maybe and the tomatoes. A few bananas. I think there was more than that. I think Stephen's had one for his breakfast. Aubergine, so clearly this is out of season for us here, so some of these things have been imported, but again I'm happy to support local. Some grapes, hopefully seedless, we shall see. Oranges, I might preserve some of these, we'll see about that as well. Salad onions, cucumber, melon and a turnip. Oh, and there's some plums and apples there. Did I say plums? Anyway, apples and plums there as well. And I think all of that, oh, the blackberries, I never mentioned those. They're looking really good. All of that, as well as the celery that I got out in excitement, for £25 delivered to your door, I don't think that's bad at all. Now, as I say, there's a couple of things in here that I should have got in the fridge straight away, and I will get better at that because, well, I just will. So the celery I'm going to need for this recipe, so I'm going to take that out and get that washed and cut up. And the stuff that needs to go in the fridge, I will get that straight in the fridge as well. I think I noticed a blemish on one of the tomatoes, so I'll make sure to use that first. Honestly, I haven't done a like-for-like comparison in how much it would cost me to buy this at its cheapest from somewhere, I don't know, Aldi, wherever it might be. But I'm not going to, because I'm just really happy with this for £25 every week on my doorstep. Hopefully if you guys are looking for something similar, hopefully there is a demand for that in your area and there's actually somebody that does that as well. But even when we are growing enough of our own vegetables, because we grow more veg than fruit, variety wise, even when we're getting enough coming in from the garden, I'll still get the smaller box but all fruit, because this amount of fruit, if it was only fruit every week, would be too much for us. But what I'll do is get I think it's like £12.50, so a half size box, just full of fruit every week once we're producing all of our own veg. And I might even just, there's a flipping fly, sorry. I might even just go down to a smaller fruit and veg box, because I have said to them in previous years, because I've done this before with these guys, just don't put me, potatoes in or tomatoes or whatever it might be when they're in season. But equally, we can always preserve what's left over. And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. I don't know why I'm holding this mushroom. When it comes to the end of the week, or if at the beginning of the week when I get this box, so this comes on a Saturday, and if I know that I've got something that I'm not going to get to, do you see the dog run past the window? Then I'll make sure that I do something with it, either preserve it or in the freezer, or I'll get it on the shelves, bottled or something like that. Sorry if I keep doing this. There is one fly in the kitchen and it keeps dive bombing me. It's a little bit early for flies, but there you go. And it's clearly got a problem with me. Anyway, so what I need to do is process this. For the fresh eating, go in the fridge. The veggies that don't need to go in the fridge will go in the pantry. As the year warms up, and we're talking a lot further into the year, it was like -3.5 this morning. If the pantry gets too warm, which to be honest, it's not too bad. I'll put everything in the fridge. So that's just a little side note. So I'll get everything that needs to go in the fridge. I'm going to prepare my celery for my recipe. And let's have a little look to see what was left over from last week to see if we can get that on the shelves as well. Because that was my other point. If you know you're not going to be using something, process it straight away. If by the end of the week you thought you were going to get to something and you haven't, it's always good to try and get that in the freezer or in, you know, in a jar or something like that if you can. I'm going to get a lot of stuff dehydrated today, I think. So I'll show you what that looks like. But I need to get this pressure canning started first. So out of this particular box, I have used 3 stalks of celery for the recipe that's on the stove at the moment. I've started putting a few things in the fridge that I came across as that I needed to move to get the celery out. I've also used 2 carrots out of there as well. So I just thought I'd take you along, show you how we're using up some of those recipes that we're making now. All of this veg will either go into meals this week, or as I say, it'll go into the freezer or be preserved. So I'm going to get some of the fruit left over from last week. I'll show you what that is, dehydrated. I think we might even put some in a crumble with rhubarb, or do I just want to do rhubarb from the garden? Anyway, I will show you what we're doing with it if it's in the dehydrator, but for now I need to get this mess tidied up. There is the stock pot on. I need to put the lid on, and that's just going to bubble away for a few minutes. I need to add in a couple of bay leaves from the garden as well, which don't come in the veg box, and then we'll be good to go. We've got in here, these are just our own lamb chops. There's some sweet potato, carrots, broccoli, onions. What else is in here? Oh, and kale crisps in there as well. So it should be lovely, and it's really nutritious. That's a really good start. What I've decided to do, it's the next day, and I still haven't got the veg box put away because I've been busy with other things that have taken priority. But I've decided I'm going to preserve these leftover fruits from last week by, I was going to say pressure canning, that's what I'm doing with the chicken, but I got some chicken out last night thinking it would be defrosted by the time, it's 11 o'clock now, and it's not, so I'm going to have to hang fire with that. So I'm going to preserve these by dehydrating them is what I'm trying to say instead. So with peaches and nectarines, you're better off peeling them and taking the skin off. With the apples, what I'm actually going to do is just slice them about I think it's a couple of mil thick, I can't remember the exact size. Leave the skin on, give them a clean, leave the skin on, and I'm going to sprinkle them with cinnamon and sugar and get them in the dehydrator for about 10 to 12 hours, basically until they're done. And I've got quite a few apples here that I can do that with, and I'll have a look what else we've got in there, but I just want to get it away whilst I'm thinking about how else I'm going to manage this day. But that's just one other way of making sure nothing goes to waste in the veg box. What I'm going to do is keep going about preserving the other chicken pieces and things and keep adding to that dehydrator. I wouldn't just put it on just for the one tray. There's lots of other things to go on, including I've got a bag here of chilies from the freezer that I literally just cut up last year. Peppers and chilies, all different flavours, all different heats is what I'm thinking. And I just cut them up and froze them thinking I'll get to them at a later date. Please, future Tracy, don't do that again. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to defrost them, drain off any juice, which I'll probably keep because it would be good to add to like a chili con carne or something. So I'm going to pressure can a chili con carne. And with the veg that's left, the pulp that's left, I'm going to dehydrate that and put it through the blender so that I've got a sort of a homemade chili powder, so that they're not going to waste, but the freezer has got a little bit more space there too. Right now though, I need to go and feed the lambs. That's not your bottle, Carol. I've got these oranges in the veg box. What I'm going to do with these is give them a wash, take the little stars off and slice them with the skins on, so they're kind of in rings, and I'm going to preserve them in some honey, literally just the slices of this, I'm going to do some lemons as well, and just pour raw honey over them, and they will be beautiful in hot teas, in drinks, in anything like that. You could put some ginger in as well if you wanted to. I'm going to use a bread knife just because I find a serrated knife is easier for these tasks. Tips and all. I'm just going to layer it, one orange and then one lemon. 2 oranges and 1 lemon. Literally just going to shove these down the side. Find a safer way to do this, of course. And there you go, all of that goodness is in there, and I'm going to cover it in honey, and that's it. I'll just get cleaned up first. These bits here have still got quite a bit of juice in them, so I'll just use them with some water today. Actually, I've got a piece of ginger, so I think I'll just add some ginger in as well. May as well while we're here. It's all good stuff. And that'll be a bit like fire cider, fire water. Now you've got to be patient, it does take a while to disperse. So all I'll do is the honey will become a lot thinner as it ferments, and I'll just keep an eye on it and top it off if it needs any more honey adding. But that's just fantastic. That'll just stay on the shelf now, completely shelf stable. I've just nearly finished my other one, so I'm really pleased with that. That'll be a bit more spicy with the ginger in it. Just keep an eye on it and make sure all of the fruit's submerged. Back to present day, and I'm going to show you at the end of the video what I did with those peppers, but I thought you might like to see a clip of the lambs having fun when we very first got these. There are updates to be had around the lambs, and I will do a small holding video once we get a little bit of sun, if that ever happens. Exciting! Not for you. Not yet. So then for our meal tonight, I'm just doing meatballs. So I'm not doing a slow cooker meal today just because I didn't get around to it this morning. But we have got spicy meatballs in and a sweet sauce. So I'm doing calorie controlled stuff at the moment, coming up to the summer holidays. But this recipe here is literally 500 grams of minced beef. We've got some onion granules, some garlic granules, some ground ginger, salt and pepper in here. There's no egg or anything. I'm just going to see how this goes without putting an egg in. There's no breadcrumbs, there's no Parmesan cheese, which you'd often find in meatballs. I'm just going to cook these through and see what happens. They might fall apart, but if so, we'll just have them like that. They'll be absolutely fine. And in this sauce, there's actually quite a lot going on in this sauce. I don't normally use so many ingredients for a recipe. I've still got peppers and onions that I'm going to fry off, but in here is this liquid at the moment. I've got chopped ginger, in any quantities that you enjoy the different flavours in, chopped garlic or the lazy garlic, soy sauce, rice wine, vinegar, we've got some sriracha sauce, I've also got garlic granules, so we've got a double whammy. I've got more ground ginger, I've got onion granules, I've also got some hoisin sauce going on in here. There's some honey, and I'm just about to add the last ingredient, which is 3 tablespoons of orange juice. And this has been taken out of the Pinch of Nom book, which I highly recommend these recipes. So if you have the book, it's the sweet and spicy meatballs on page 50, and they are looking really good. There's tomato sauce in here as well, tomato ketchup. And just, yeah, we're going to get them cooked up and see what they end up like. What I'm going to do actually is just bring these meatballs, instead of putting the big oven on, which is the only oven I've got inside at the moment, I'm going to pop the meatballs in the Ninja, in the air fryer, and just put the probe temperature in, and it just cooks it to the temperature that you preset. I'll set that to 70. You can obviously eat beef raw, so that's going to be absolutely fine. I might even just do it to 65 actually and see how they go, because some of these are typical of me, all different sizes, even though I try and put them to be the same size. So I'm going to get those put in the air fryer now, but I am going to actually put some basmati rice in the Instant Pot, and we'll have that with it. Basmati rice is fantastic in the Instant Pot. It's literally 6 minutes, certainly for the variety that we've got, or the brand that we've got anyway. So I'll get that in. It does take longer than 6 minutes in total, because obviously the Instant Pot or any electric pressure cooker has to come up to temperature, and then it has to drop the pressure afterwards as well. So it's not only 6 minutes that it takes, but it is still really hands off. So I'm going to get that out of the pantry now. Sounds hollow now. And I'm going to go and whack the meatballs in the air fryer. Really enjoyed that tea. It was very tasty and within the calories that I'm trying to stick to, so I'm pleased. I thought we'd come out and check on the animals together, and also it's a bit more peaceful out here than it is in the house when everybody is busy and on at the end of the day. So I've just come out for a breather, if I'm honest with you. So we'll go check on the pigs together. I'm just going to check that the horses are doing okay. Grace has already fed these for me tonight, and just have a little chat about some of the things that are going to be happening over the next few weeks. So this is my old girl. That's why you might think you can see her ribs. She's getting on, bless her. Lydia. Hello, sweetie pie. Didn't you hear me? Didn't you hear me? So Lydia's got different colours on her because she's actually shedding her winter coat at the moment. So you might be able to see on her face, she's got a really sort of tan colour at the front and a dark colour on the back of her cheeks there. That's where she's shedding her winter coat. And she'll soon be a gorgeous, gorgeous colour, won't you, girl? Well, you are gorgeous. Huh? Say hello to everybody. Let me eat my tea. Looks fine. And then we've got the little pony munching away at the back there, not remotely interested in anything I've got to say. I need to get these guys cleaned out, but we'll go and check on the pigs together while I gather my thoughts. So we're just alongside the barn next to the ducks, who are loving life out at the moment. I need to change the water in their pond. They do get noisy when you come to see them, so that's why I've had to just take a pause on the camera while I calm back down again. I'm just walking around to go see the pigs. So yes, as you may or may not know, and as you may or may not be interested, but I'm guessing you've switched off by now if you're not interested. I work full time and I'm in the office for 3 days. That's just what our company does at the moment as a offshoot of what's happened with COVID. So I used to do in the office, I used to go in Monday, Wednesday and Thursday. And what I've decided is that I'm actually going to go in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday now, moving forward. It used to work, but it'd be better if I was at home on a Tuesday for certain reasons, and now it doesn't matter what days that I'm in, and it's better if I'm actually at home on a Monday. It just works out better for the animals and things like that. Let's see if the pigs come. Piggies! It's very windy. Piggies! Hello, dear. Hello, my darling. Oh, there we go. You're missing something. How you doing? How you doing? Happy days. I picked some radish for tea with some lettuce and things, and I kept some aside for them. In our country, you're not supposed to feed animals, livestock, anything that you've had in the kitchen, but anything that you get straight from the ground can go, without going in the kitchen, can go outside. Just checking how much water they've got. Okay, they're good. So I'll leave those happily munching away while I carry on trying to tell you what I started talking about. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be easier for me if I start doing a slow cooker meal on each of those days. Now it's funny because we refer to it as slow cooker slop in our family, because every slow cooker meal not every, but a lot of slow cooker meals that I cook turn into just a mixture of, you know, more like a soup instead of a meal, if you like. So we jokingly, I started referring to it as slow cooker slop to make the kids laugh, and it's stuck. holly everywhere. Let's get in the greenhouse out the way of the wind. I've actually got a stand in here for my phone, so I don't have to use my hands. I can warm them up a little bit. I'm not sure if you'd be able to hear me then over all of the wind that's picking up. It still feels a bit like winter here. We've had some nice days, but goodness me, it's taken its time to come round for spring. And I said on my podcast this morning, I think we might just end up jumping straight into summer at this rate, because it is still really cold. The air's just not warming up. Even when it's sunny, the air's still cold, if that makes sense. So, you know, when you can go out your back door in a t-shirt, even if you're in the shade, it's still nice and warm. None of that yet this year here. And I know from speaking to a few people who are further down south, it's the total opposite now. It's really nice and hot for you guys. Can't wait for it to arrive. Anyway, if you couldn't hear me, and if I'm repeating myself, apologies, but hopefully it was nice for you to see a couple of the animals on one of the videos that's not necessarily small holding related. So yes, where was I? On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to start doing slow cooker meals for all 3 of those days. I'll have to meal plan ahead, and instead of meal planning for the full 7 days, what I'm going to do is use what I get in the veg box on the Saturday. The veg boxes have been fantastic. So although we're starting to bring a few things in from the garden, I've got some salad leaves, some spinach, radish, that kind of thing coming in. We haven't got enough to sustain us comfortably for the family for the full week. So I'm still getting the veg box, and I'll continue to get that for some time yet. So when the veg box comes on a Saturday, I'll be having a look in it and making up some recipes that we can do in the slow cooker on the Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. And I know I've repeated myself there, but trying to get it straight in my head as well as share with you guys. And I think what I'm going to do is just each week I'll do a selection of the meals that I'm using the veg box for, that I'm making up, whether it's showing you what the slow cooker meals of the week look like. There may be some instant pot meals in there. The problem is we're trying to eat a little bit earlier, so that by the time we all get in from work and school, etc., everybody's like really hungry, and that's when I usually start preparing the meal basically. And with trying to avoid putting the big cooker on and spending too much money on using the electric in that point of view, I just think that the slow cooker will come in really handy. The other days I'll be using the other appliances that we've got. So we got an air fryer at Christmas, which was fantastic. Absolutely love that. But there's still prep involved and there's still time to wait. Whereas when you come in from with a slow cooker, it's just there, ready to eat. So I'm going to try and do more one pots than where I've got other things that I'll need to complete as a side, because otherwise that just defeats the point. And then at least we'll still be able to eat a bit earlier, because our meal times have been creeping later and later into the evening. And I'm up really, really early, as is Stephen. The kids, you know, are out to school. We leave on the work days, we leave about 8 o'clock, but we're up at about 4:45 to get everything done. And, you know, by the time you get in, you're absolutely starving, and we go to bed probably earlier than average, the normal people, you know what I mean. Anyway, so we kind of don't want to be eating too late into the evening, and then, you know, going to bed on a full stomach and feeling a bit grotty from that. So that's the plan. If you're interested in seeing some of the meals that I'll be doing from a working and you know, trying to balance work-life point of view, let me know. I'll try and video some anyway, because I did put a poll on YouTube recently asking people what kind of videos they'd like, and I think there's a lot of people that are here for the gardening, and there's a lot of people that enjoy the small holding related videos, but there's quite a few people that seem to enjoy the cooking side of things as well. And to be honest, it's all part and parcel of our lives. So the feedback that we got was fantastic. People are quite happy for a little bit of everything. Frequency was an interesting one, but my frequency is all over the place. You know that it's me by now. Sometimes there'll be a bit of a break of 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you'll get like a bus amount of coming every couple of minutes of videos. So we'll just see how it goes on that one. But I think I'll plan on trying to do something along those lines, include what meals I'm making from the veggie box. I'm not going to be meal planning for 7 days anymore, especially as we come into this season. Excuse me, itchy nose. Because the 3 days that I need to plan for are those that I'm in work. The rest of the time, you kind of, as long as I know what I've got in the veg box and I've got coming out of the ground, I'll be able to just to plan ahead a couple of days in advance when we know what's happening in life and things like that as well. And it's just a lot easier at this time of the year to grab something that's quick and easy, like a salad or whatever, whereas in the winter, I haven't got much else on. And I enjoy planning the full 7 days because we spent a lot more time inside in the winter, whereas this time of year we're out as much as possible despite it being so cold. And it's not the type of meals that we're looking to do where we're just sort of in the house with lots and lots of preparation. So yeah, 7-day meal plans are out of the window for now. I'll be doing just 3 days, and I'll share those with you as and when I can. So if interested in that, please do let me know. As I say, there might be the odd instant pot one, but it will be mostly slow cooker so that we can just get on and eat those on those 3 days. Sometimes I'm sharing what we're eating on a weekend in the gardening videos as well, so we'll just have to see how it pans out. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed seeing what we had for tea tonight. I did get some footage which I'll pop on here, showing me serving up the meal. It was absolutely delicious, and but everybody was kind of talking all at the same time. I'm really pleased with how it turned out though. And I'm going to finish off by showing you what I actually did with those peppers that we started the video with. So I dehydrated them, the chilies and the chili peppers, and they worked out really well. And I've literally just blitzed them in our coffee grinder, which I've been sure to rinse out so that there was no residual chili pepper left. You don't want that in your coffee. And just pop them in a jar. I haven't put an oxygen absorber in or anything like that. I'm really pleased with how they turned out, and I'm going to be doing much more dehydrating as we move into the months where more produce becomes available, and with all of the spare things that I get from the veggie box as well, where it's appropriate. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. It's a bit of a mishmash, but hey, such is life and such is this channel sometimes, isn't it? So I'll see you in the next one. If you don't mind, if you do enjoy this kind of content and you have enjoyed listening to me ramble on, please will you give the video a thumbs up, and why don't you consider subscribing, as we YouTubers seem to say, and stick around for the next one. Either way, leave me a comment, and I hope to chat to you in the comments below. See you later.